Another set of championship fixtures is here. They're coming thick and fast, and it only felt like yesterday that I was recording the last video for midweek. And in that set of midweek fixtures, we did manage to get one score correct. It was Middlesbrough beating Norwich 2-1. A very, very good upturn of form from Middlesbrough after going 7 without a win their first 7 games of the season. They are absolutely flying. Won every game since, and they are just heading straight up the table. So a lot of people had them in the top 4 at the start of the season, definitely top 6, but I think most people kind of said Southampton, Leicester, Leeds and Middlesbrough will be the top 4, and Middlesbrough are heading that way. There's just a slight problem of Ipswich that are breaking up that pack and doing such a good job. I think Preston are in between a few of them as well, but Ipswich are the ones that are flying that weren't really expected to be where they are. They won again in midweek, as did Leicester. Both of those are smashing it. And Ipswich actually broke the record after 12 games of the most points in any championship season. It's just unfortunate for them that Leicester have done it in exactly the same season, going one better. But those two sides are flying. Sheffield Wednesday breaking the points total for worst start in the championship. So it's been a very, very drastic season so far, but it's very tight still towards the playoff spaces, and I'm hoping that it continues to be that way. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into our predictions. So both these sides lost in midweek. Leeds losing to Stoke 1-0. Bamford missed a penalty and he absolutely skied it. I don't think he'll take a penalty again for them, to be honest. And Huddersfield were battered 4-0 at home against Cardiff. I'm not sure Darren Moore's going to last too long, because Huddersfield, they were hard to beat, to be fair. Under the end of Warnock and the start of Darren Moore, they'd only lost one and it was against Blues. But after that Cardiff performance, I'm a bit worried that the wheels are going to fall off. They're not winning many anyway. I feel that they're going to keep slipping down the table towards that relegation zone. Leeds, they're obviously gunning for those top 2 positions, and midweek was a little hiccup, but I think they'll be back on the winning train. So Leeds to win 3-0. Blues travel to Southampton, and I am in two minds here, because first of all, Southampton unbeaten in 5, 3 wins, 2 draws, and the latest game was a 2-2 against Preston. So they were 2-1 down, to be fair, and scored a last-minute equaliser. And I feel like Southampton have had that a few times, where they've scored a last-minute goal to equalise or take all 3 points. Blues' first 2 games under Rooney have probably been our 2 worst performances of the season. We've been so poor, not really knowing what we're doing. The players look lost on the pitch, and I have a feeling he's tried to implement too much too quickly. After the game, he came out in a press conference and said that he spoke to the players feel a bit uncomfortable with the way they're being asked to play, so he is going to try and find a solution to that. Maybe something in between Eustace ball and Rooney ball, that's what we're going to call them, because he has tried to go all out Rooney ball and it's not working. We've looked poor, we haven't scored yet, and I don't mind losing 1-0 away to Middlesbrough. They're in brilliant form. Hull are a hard side to beat, but we were unbeaten at home, and I think we should be getting something against Hull. We should be drawing. We're that kind of level of side. So no offence to Hull, they did a brilliant job in the game. They are hard to beat, but they don't win too many. And I would have liked to see a bit more fight in that one, but we were very poor. I've got a feeling here that we will score our first goal of the season. I just don't know whether we're going to get anything out of it. So I am going to go for Blues to score, and even though Southampton are going to want a lot of the ball, Rooney's not going to enjoy that, but I think we will set up in a counter-attacking way and reap some rewards. I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible, so I will go 1-1. If you'd have asked me 3 games ago, I would have went for Swansea to beat Blackburn. However, Blackburn's last 3 games have all been wins, and they've only conceded 1 in those 3 games, so they've really started to shut the back door. which was a problem they had. They were conceding a lot of goals. Swansea, they won 4 in a row, were unbeaten in 5. Leicester turned up, they lost that game, fair enough. However, I expected them to bounce back against a struggling Watford side, but they lost 1-0 to Watford in midweek. So now I'm not sure what direction to go in this one. I'm going to back the form of Blackburn. The fact that they're at home should help a little bit. So I will go for Blackburn to just edge it 2-1. Cardiff against Bristol City. Now, both sides are in a bit of patchy form, bit unpredictable. Cardiff are doing a little bit better, I guess. 4-0 win against Huddersfield away in midweek. Very, very good result from them. That should give them the momentum and a bit of motivation to push on in this game. But I've just got a feeling this is one of those games that just looks like a draw. So I'm going to go 1-1. Tough one to call with Hull facing Preston. Hull picked up their first win in 5 in midweek with a 2-0 over Blues. I don't know how impressed I am with Hull. I mean, they played well. However, they didn't have to step out of first gear. Blues were very poor. So I think it's hard to judge Hull because it was probably the fact that they were good and Blues were bad. But Blues were just awful. So can Hull step it up a gear against a side that's had a decent start to the season? It's going to be a tough ask because Preston had lost 3 in a row, but they've started shutting that out a bit, getting some points on the board, 2 draws in a row. They were 2-1 up against Southampton before conceding a late equaliser. I am going to back Hull though. I've just got a sneaky feeling they've got, some good attackers. John Michael Seri in the midfield, I think, he controls games and he's the sort of player that would be brilliant for Rooney, that midfield controller who just passes with ease and kind of runs things. And I've got a feeling Hull will reap the benefits. So the Tigers to win 2-1. Next up, 2 newly promoted sides face off with Ipswich against Plymouth. And I'm running out of superlatives for the Tractor Boys. They are having a brilliant start to the season. The second best start after 12 games ever in the Championship. After Leicester, who, are just both of them seem to be running away with it. And they just constantly find a way to win. Plymouth, they started the season okay. A bit of difficulty defending, started creeping in, conceding goals, and they finally got back on the winning train with a 3-0 against Sheffield Wednesday, but it's hard to judge anyone from beating Sheffield Wednesday as they lose a lot of games. I'm going to have to go for the home side Ipswich to win it 2-0. 2 teams having a very good week at the moment, Middlesbrough against Stoke. They've both won each game this week, so they're both on for a 9-point week, but if any, only one can come out with all 9 points. Middlesbrough have won 6 in a row, a brilliant upturn of form, and they just look like they're going to keep chugging on all the way into the top 6 really. They're very, very good form from them. Stoke, 2 wins in a row, beating Sunderland and Leeds. So great from Stoke. Didn't see either of those results coming. Have they turned a corner? This is a massive ask from them because Middlesbrough at home is a tough game. So I am going to go for Middlesbrough to win it 2-1. And if anything has a 1-0 to the home side written all over it, it's QPR against Leicester. This would be... It's the sort of thing that would happen, and then Gareth Ainsworth would get 3 extra months to do something because he beat Leicester, so he must be doing a good job. QPR are absolutely awful. I can't believe Blues drew against them. They've lost 5 in a row. They haven't won in 8, and they just don't look like they're going to do anything. They've got some decent players, but it's just not going well for them under Ainsworth at all. Leicester, 8 wins in a row. Out of their 13 games so far, they've won 12, lost 1. They're flying, smashing records. So, although it would be funny to see QPR win 1-0, and part of me wants to go for it, I am going to back Leicester to win. You can't go against them, especially against QPR. So, Leicester to win 3-0. Two sides that have hit tricky form at the moment, but they have had some tough games. Sunderland against Norwich. Now, Sunderland have lost 3 in a row, coming against Middlesbrough, Stoke, and most recently, Leicester. Norwich, not won in their last 4. They've got 2 losses in a row, but they've came against Leeds and Middlesbrough. So, tough fixtures. They are losing, but it's not like they're having, losing against Sheffield Wednesday or, a side near the bottom of the league. These are good sides that they're losing to. So, tough one to call. Who's going to be more confident on the day considering they are losing games at the moment? I'm not sure. Now, Sunderland being at home, you'd think would have the advantage, but I am going to call it down the middle, 1-1. Watford against Millwall is another tough one to call. Watford, they had only won 2 of their first 11. They were really struggling, but 2 wins in a row, both 1-0, coming against Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea. May see an upturn in form. They're keeping the goals out, and they're not massively prolific, but when you're keeping clean sheets, you don't have to be. You just need to take that one chance, and that's what they're doing. Millwall not won in 3, still managerless as of recording, and I don't really know what's going on with Millwall. I think they just kind of need to appoint someone soon and actually have a direction that they're going in. But they lost their first game since they've been managerless in the week, and I've got a feeling they might lose again. I think it'll be tight, but Watford to take that one chance again and win 1-0. I know we're only at round 14, but this next one feels like a 6-pointer, a massive clash, and it could really define especially the home side season. It's bottom place Sheffield Wednesday against 22nd Rotherham. Now, Rotherham picked up a good win in midweek, and they needed it, just as both these sides need a win. Can Rotherham build on that 2-0 win against Coventry? They will be hoping they can, but Sheffield Wednesday, this is their first real game where they'll feel like they've got an opportunity to win it. Rotherham don't have much of the ball. They play a lot of long balls. Maybe Danny Roll can finally get a bit of the ball and try and implement his way of playing. If they do lose this Sheffield Wednesday, then already I kind of give up on them. I think they could be too far adrift. I know it would only be about 10 points, but you just don't fancy them. Still haven't won. They need a win here, really. But Rotherham, for me, after that performance in midweek, I do think they will get the odd goal. It'll be something scrappy. So Rotherham to win 1-0. And finally, on Monday, Coventry against West Brom. Now, Coventry have lost 2 in a row. They have both been away games, though. And they are unbeaten at home at the moment. So that will help them push on and get something out of this, you'd think, because they haven't lost on home soil. West Brom, quite a hard team to read. They don't lose many games, but a disappointing 0-0 draw against Plymouth. Then they got back to winning ways with a 2-0 against QPR, but you'd have kind of expected them to win both of those games. So it's a hard one to place your finger on, really. I am going to go down the middle in this one. I hate to go down the middle so much. I like to be decisive, but quite frankly, there are about 3-4 draws every round. So I think it's only fair to back this one as one as well. I will go 1-1. So those are my predictions for these championship fixtures. Make sure to get yours down in the comments, like the video and subscribe. Up the Blues.